Well, happy hot Saturday, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem here on the 22nd of June. Our heat wave here in the Northeast is just about over. We've had some low to mid 90s. I know the folks in Dallas are laughing at us that we're melting up here. But again, the heat wave will be over here Sunday in the Northeast. Heard some buzz that this was going to be an extreme drought year because of the developing La Nina. Simply not the case. Folks are talking about 1988, 2012, obviously two very extreme drought years, had huge implications to the Corn Belt. Again, if we look back in 12, corn yields were 123 bushels an acre and prices soared to 831. So again, extreme drought and had a number on yields. 2023 was actually worse than 12. It was the driest in 35 years across the Corn Belt, going back to 1988. And then here in 2024, polar opposite. Again, both U.S. and Corn Belt, wettest in 5 years for the 1 March through 21 June timeframe. Again, last year, driest in 35 across the Corn Belt. This year, much wetter. Last year, U.S. driest in 11 years. So wholesale change. USDA is forecasting 181 bushel acre corn. Again, we tend to agree with that number. It'll be somewhere in that range. So higher than last year for sure. In fact, Iowa State, some folks are saying 191 bushel acre corn. That might be a little too high, but again, we do believe it's going to be a decent crop year again for most of the U.S. Corn Belt. Severe weather here this past week. We added about 28 tornadoes, 143 hail events, 662 wind events. Slowed a bit, again shifting more to the north as it does this time of year, but tornadoes are still trending the most in 29 years. Looking at the 3-day outlook here again, so we're going to keep it in the Midwest, upper Great Lakes, into the New England area as this cold front comes through. And then Monday shifting back into the upper plains once again. So again, some activity, same general trend where it's been here the past week or so. First tropical storm season kicked off here pretty quick here with Alberto. Short-lived quick storm, but again plowed into Tampico, Mexico area. Only impact was really to Texas where they had 4, 5, 6 plus inches of flooding rain. Again, coastal Texas for sure with some storm surge and rainfall impacts. But we have another system here. Again, that's in that same general area of Mexico, eastern Mexico. Doesn't have much time here to get developed, but the Hurricane Center is still saying 50% chance. They have a similar chance for the system off of Georgia, but that has moved inland, so that's probably not going to get a name. So if we do get one more chance here for a named storm, then I think we're going to get a lull. We look at there's a big subtropical Bermuda High, obviously, this time of year out in the Atlantic, and that tends to pull some dust off of the sub-Sahara Africa desert there. This is not that extreme. Again, we do see some of this dust, but it's not a ton. But dust does tend to suppress the tropical season temporarily. And again, it's not atypical this time of year, June, July, even early August, to have dust coming off Africa. But we still, as does everyone else, expect an extreme active hurricane season. So, and again, mid-August through about mid-October, probably going to be pretty epic with a near historic season. Look at the 14-day storm tracks. Again, you see that big Bermuda High anchored out in the Atlantic, and again, that allows clockwise circulation, allows some of that air to come off of Africa, the dust, and gets transported out into the Atlantic. So again, nothing too extreme here, but we don't actually see any tropical development really here in the next couple weeks. Again, something in close to the U.S. Possible, but again, nothing really on the radar at this stage through early July. Look at last week world summer here, ending today, 22 June here in the U.S., 4.1 warmer than last year, warmest in 30 years, third warmest in 39 years with our heat wave in the Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast. So 8% drier than a year ago, about 18th driest, so near average rainfall for the U.S. overall. Still continue a little bit cooler there in the U.K. and Europe. Again, down in Australia, it's their winter season, that coldest 11 years and well below average temperatures down in Australia. Options that left are the trends versus average. Look at this week here, again, the last full week of June here, going into the pre-4th of July weekend coming up. Here in the U.S., we're going to look about 3.2 warmer than last year, number one warmest in 39 years. You can see the heat shifting out of the Great Lakes, Northeast, Midwest, and shifting back toward the west and the central plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, where it is a little bit drier. Rainfall down about 2%, still 17th driest in 39 years, so just a hair below average. But again, ample rainfall. You see those 1.5, 2-inch rainfalls across Iowa, northern Illinois, Indiana. So again, that'll be much needed again here after the heat wave. Corn always likes to get a little bit of rain, so this will be again some good news again for the U.S. Corn Belt. Precip versus averages inset left there. Looking next week again here, this is the Independence Day weekend, 4th of July. U.S. again still 1.8 warmer than last year, warmest in 12 years, second warmest in 39 years, so above average. But again, notice the cool, actually below average temperatures in the upper Midwest plains and Up and down in the Northeast. Got to go maybe one hot day in that week, and then again generally cools off. Rainfall down about 33%, driest in 10 years, 12th driest in 39 years. But again, still rain across the Midwest, East Coast, even in the parched desert Southwest, much needed. So overall, a pretty good week here for those cold seasonal beverage categories, a hot pool, anything consumable. Pool chemicals tend to, hotter, drier tends to evaporate, and you need more chemicals. So beverages, probably grilling activities, well, maybe not grilling, but backyard picnic and barbecuing. So lettuce and hot dogs and hamburgers, all that stuff does well when the weather's a little more favorable for being outside. We aggregate these 2-week world trends here through the 6th of July. Again, you see cool trends across Canada, cooling across the northern tier, northeast part of the U.S., and again, slight moderation in Europe, but again, still cool there in parts of France. The precip trends versus average. And then these are precip aggregated. So again, good swath of 2 to 4 inches plus rainfall again across the U.S. Corn Belt. So again, they will. Prices have been falling as of late, and we do think that'll continue here for probably the next week or two. Again, then may stabilize. Across Europe, again, a little bit of rain, but not too excessive. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here again this time next week, and we'll see you soon.